All right. So we have had an interesting last couple of weeks where we've gained a lot more insight about where existing clients are sitting at with their policies, right? And it's all about, okay, you've got them all set up and it's been about a good year, maybe a good 2 years. And now it's settled in and they love the idea of what it meant to get these all set up. The whole ideology about making the bank plan B, having a lot more freedom, a lot more control. So what now? So the idea is set in, but they haven't used it yet. So Lacy, why don't you take us through, one of the conversations that we talked about?
Yeah, so this has been coming up, over and over again. And so I met with a family who their policies are now 2 years old. And they've done some deposit option payments, or paying toward that extra premium that they are allotted. But they haven't, maxed it out or used it to its full potential. And so met with them and like, hey, let's do an annual review. How did everybody's policies perform? What can we do? Let's strategize. And so I left that session like feeling very excited because it's like, guys, look, you could be doing so much more. So we went through all the things. Hey, does your line of credit have a balance on it right now? How long have you been carrying that? When are you planning on paying it off? What are you paying now? Well, we're just paying interest only. Okay, what do you have coming in right away? Do you have some cattle sales? Do you have some grain sales coming in? Yep, they got quite a bit of money coming in the next little while. And it's like, okay, let's pump the brakes and say, what can we do to make that money work better for you rather than that dreaded vicious cycle of you work hard, you earn money, it comes in. And so we went over the whole flow of money thing. We work hard, we earn a paycheck, it comes into our bank account and it leaves and it goes to service the things that we have to pay for in life. And that's never going to change. We're always going to have to pay for things. But how can we interrupt that flow and say, hey, wait, I deserve better. I deserve for my money to work for me in the long term. So our wonderful, amazing assistant, Amanda, helped me create a big spreadsheet. I'm like, hey, of a million numbers, but they make sense to me. And hey, look, this is what you can do, but let's start off with at least doing something. And so met up with them again. Hey, look at all these numbers. We came to a place where they felt comfortable enough and they're like, whoa, so this is how it ended. They're going to be able to pay down half of their line of credit at the bank and they're going to be able to operate solely on the cash value built up in their policies this year for their farming.
So for the first time. And it just took...
For the first time.
So there's a few things that I just want to clarify, especially if you're really learning all the lingo of what it means to practice the infinite banking concept and implement. And then we're talking about the tool that we use, which is a dividend paying whole life insurance contract, and you use extra premium as one of your terms, Lacy. So when you say extra premium, you also mean deposit option, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Because typically we kind of refer to it as deposit option, usually on a one-on-one. So I wanted to clarify that. The second piece here is we talked about earlier on in our conversation, Lacy, that it's really easy to flip back into that old mindset where the policies that we help to design for you, specific to your needs, your circumstances, that they really ought to be reframed in your mind as something that can serve you, not as an expense. It's easy to categorize and keep it categorizing it in your brain. Oh, this is like just another bill that I have to think about, and forget that these policies are here to serve you, and they serve you when you start thinking through a different lens.
Yeah. So, and that was another conversation. And like one of the reasons why what we do is so fulfilling is I was able to meet a client who's also a friend. And sometimes that is tricky too, where you're putting on your advisor hat and your work Lacy hat, but it's also your friend. But I was able to show up for them and look at their situation through a different lens and say, hey, let me show you what your policies, your system of policies has done over the past year, and provide clarity, because this in particular situation was like, hey, I don't know, should I be reducing my expenses, my fixed expenses every month? And the policies is one of them. Like, should I do that? And I'm like, you know what? We could do that. We do have that option. But let me show you through a different lens why I don't think that's the best thing to do. And so I was able to say, is there anything in your life where this cash value can help ease things right now? And it was just like, oh my gosh, yes, I didn't think of it that way. I could really use it in this area or this area. And there were a couple different options. And so I said, these policies show up to serve you when you need them most. And yes, some people are using them on a daily basis and monthly basis. They're doing that. We have clients that, yes, operate from their policy, but we have clients who have used it just as a place to store and grow wealth, and it's there when they need it. And this was one of those situations where it's like, it was a breath of fresh air to her to know that these policies are here and I need it right now.
Yeah, because when there's a downward pressure of feeling like there's some lack of money or a lack of cash flow, which also feels like a lack of oxygen, right? Like you get forced into survival thinking. And then when we get into that sort of thinking, it's like, okay, what can I get rid of?
Yes.
Right? What can I get rid of in terms of expenses and things? Survival mindset creates a certain type of thinking, and it's good to recognize what is the type of mindset and what are the type of questions that come up when we get into survival mode, so that we can also turn around and say, oh, wait, that's survival thinking. This is not going to help me think in abundance. This is not really going to help me in the long term, because a lot of decisions that come out of survival thinking feel like it's like a drug. It solves an issue for that moment, but then it doesn't really necessarily help you in the long term. So it's good to really lean in on Lacy and I to help you get out of that rut if you need that, right? Or just to have someone outside of yourself to really ask you the questions like, how can this serve you? And have someone to brainstorm that with, because sometimes we can't resolve our situation with the same thinking that got us there in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. And like your policies is kind of like that treadmill that you bought. It's not going to do anything for you if you don't get on it and walk on it.
Right.
Or run. Right. Or I mean, you can hang your clothes to dry on it. That's what a lot of treadmills get used for, but that's not serving you in the purpose of that you intended it to.
It's pretty expensive to use it just as a place for that. Yeah. So here are some things that I have personally used my policies for. I use them as a place to shelter my tax payments for the following year. I use them for paying out contractors. I just use it as a general way of saving for anything that I need saving for, essentially. And when I need to use them, I use them, whether it's for anything in my life. It doesn't really matter what it is. And a great reminder is that I get to set the terms. I own all of my own debt. If I don't pay it back, it only really impacts me. It doesn't impact my credit rating. There may be something that I want to go for that I may not have enough money in my cash values in that moment in time, where I may still need to go to the lender, right? Not that that's what I want to do, but from time to time when we see an opportunity, we may still need to lean in on that bank, and we still need to look good to the bank, for them to say, yes, I want to do business with you. And guess what? I'm going to look great to the bank because all of my debt is private.
With these 2 strategy sessions that I had, we still had to work through, but I still have to pay that back over there. Well, you should, yes. But I like to say you get to pay it back.
Yeah.
Because you get to use it again.
Like a line of credit.
You're using those same dollars and they're compounding and growing for you forever. Yes, you need to pay it back because you need to treat your money the same as you treat the bank's money. But one of those situations was, okay, if we take a policy loan and we move one outside lender debt to your policies. So I'm not going to say we're going to pay it off because we're not getting rid of the debt, we're moving it. The amount of interest that they were paying, it was like a 14% interest rate difference. And just in that alone, I'm like, look, now you can pay this much interest per month because I want you to service the interest on your policy loans, but you're paying way less than you are to this outside creditor. And so it takes strategy, it takes focus and dedication. And I say this all the time. What are you willing to do to get to what's standing on the other side of your success? Like to get through it.
Choose your hard. I don't know how many times we said it.
You do have to choose your hard. And like you can either walk on that treadmill and get stronger, or you can sit on the couch and get weaker. It's the same with your finances.
Yep, it sure is. You know, one of the things that I heard you do this week, Lacey's, I don't know if you got it yet, but you said you got a 10-pound vest so you can start walking around.
I did get a weighted vest. And I want to say that maybe that was the culprit to why I had so much back pain later in the week.
Oh.
I don't know for sure. Like I've had some shoulder pain. So yes, I did get a weighted vest because I thought, I want to try it out. I want to make, like I often just go for walks on the ranch and I want to make it a little bit tougher than it is just walking around because I need to get stronger. I am 3 years post colon cancer surgery, treatment, chemo. Like my stamina is not back to where it was. I'm not as strong as I was, but I'm slowly working to that. And I just thought maybe if I add a little bit, then it helps me get that much stronger. And kind of the same in my finances, like Reed and I, if we sit down 3 times a week and look at things,
it hurts
that's
at
better
first.
than 2 times.
It hurts at first.
Yeah,
it hurts at first. And there will be adjustments that will need to be made. But you know, we get better increments at a time. And it's by making choices like getting a weighted vest. You purchase that to use it with intention to get stronger. No different than those that choose to get a policy. At first, there are growing pains with it. I mean, this is pretty much what the session is about. You get this policy. Now what? What do I do with it? Because you go through that whole process of deciding this is what I want to do. This is the lifestyle I want to live. And now it's like getting back on that, coming back into it, and what kind of thinking, what kind of choices, what kind of habits can I put into place in order for this to serve your life, your operations, your family. And we haven't even talked about, like, this is probably what we've talked about today is more so like the decision making about how you can strategize and use it just for certain moments. Never mind what it will actually do for you for the rest of your natural life and what it could do for your family going forward. Like that's a whole other ball of wax that we can also get excited about as well. You know, in speaking about those 2 scenarios where it's the aha moment, like, oh yeah, how can I bring this back into a place where it serves me, where it can like help pay off my credit card? It's getting used to, okay, so what are the steps to break that down? So learn how to take out your money from the policy. For every life carrier that you have, it's a kind of a different process. It could be super easy or it could just take a few more minutes, right? So it's not as convenient. It's not as convenient as it is like when you hop online and you know what's going on with the bank. But again, there's a bit of trade-off. You want more control, it's a little less convenient. You want more convenience, you have a lot less control over your stuff. So anyways, you learn how to take out your money. You learn that it comes into your bank. So you develop trust that it's liquid, and then you use it exactly when the money lands in your account. You do the same thing that you would have normally done. You would have just transferred that money or paid it online to the credit card bill. Instead of paying back the credit card every single month or struggling, right, you know, to pay that credit card back or feel bad about it, you can just turn around and instead of paying your credit card, you then turn around and just make sure that you can pay yourself back through your policy. Right? So instead of paying your credit card back, you're paying yourself back. But you've already taken care of making sure you're not paying extra interest to your credit card. So there's that one thought.
Yeah, you're just disrupting the flow a bit, right? I met with another client this week who basically said exactly what you said. it's more convenient for me to move money from my bank account because I can do it in an instant click, like log in, click, it's there. And it's just extra steps. And so this particular client definitely uses their policies and takes policy loans and pays them back and whatnot. But for the month to month, they're just like, nope, I just want the convenience of just using my HELOC or my savings account or what. And I said, that's your choice. This is what you're giving up for that convenience. Nothing is free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. If you are our existing client and you're listening to this, I want to challenge you. Book a session with us. Book a 60-minute review strategy session. Reach out to us and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. And let's see what we can come up with. Because if you're not meeting with us at least once a year, I mean, that, and even that's probably not enough. But yeah, just challenge. Book a session with us and let's see what we can strategize and do for you.
We're definitely here to elevate your experience, not only with implementing the infinite banking concept, but we're also here to elevate your overall life experience, because that's what it will essentially do.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's our push to you. You have your policies. You have the privilege of being approved for life insurance coverage. Not everybody has that privilege. I don't have that privilege at this moment in time. And so you have that privilege. You have that policy. Let's see what we can do to make it work for you and like fully benefit from it.
Well, get this, talking about privilege, Canadians have this privilege of being able to get this style of policy in a way that can be used in this particular manner. US citizens also have this privilege as well. Not everyone in this world. So as I know it, I think North America is the only space that has these style of contracts that you can get. And again, within what Lacy's really saying is that you could have all the money in the world and you may not be able to get this financial instrument that we are talking about. So you have to actually qualify.
Yeah, you do have to qualify, and it is a privilege. So if you happen to be in the USA and you're listening to us, then you need to head over to our friend and colleague, Mary Jo Ehrman, farmingwithoutthebank.com. That's where you need to start if you happen to be in the US and you stumbled across our podcast. Otherwise, hey guys, existing clients, you know us. You know where to find us, ranchyourway.com. Reach out to us. You have our contact information. Challenge you, book in that session. If you're new here, ranchyourway.com, the first step is grabbing the book bundle. You're going to get the paperback copy of Farming Without the Bank that is behind me if you're on YouTube, and the audio version. That's where you start, but it's not where you end. So thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode.
So glad you leaned in with us on the Winnie podcast. We truly hope you're feeling more informed and empowered to take another step towards optimizing your financial life. Right now, make sure you hit subscribe so you can keep growing and learning with us. Until next time, we wish you prosperity in every area of your life.